Just want to begin by wishing all of you a very blessed and joyous Easter and all the best for the Easter season, which will last up until we celebrate Pentecost. And when we consider the resurrection of our Lord, notice Mary Magdalene, she clings to our Lord. And our Lord says, "Don't cling to me, I have yet to ascend to my Father." Why is she clinging to him? Because of her great love. And also because she had lost him through his death, and she doesn't want to ever lose him again. But the wonderful thing is that because our Lord makes himself present to us in the Eucharist, we always have him with us now. We can always cling to him now in the Eucharist. We will never lose him. Through our faith, we can never lose him as long as we remain faithful and as long as we strive to live our lives the way that he calls us to. Death is a very terrible thing. It's a very unfortunate thing. When we lose a loved one, we feel it's a tremendous separation. We feel that it's a final separation, but it's not. And death is not the end of that person's life. So the soul continues to exist. We can be reunited with our loved ones in heaven, provided we make it to heaven. But we also have our Lord's promise that he will resurrect all of us, all of our bodies at the end of time. He will resurrect or recreate our bodies. So we will enjoy the new heaven and the new earth, not just in our souls, but also in our bodies. So those who have been faithful to God, they will receive their glory, their joy, their happiness, not only in their soul, but also in their bodies. For those who are in hell, their bodies will be resurrected also. Their bodies will share in the pains and sufferings of hell. So when we consider the resurrection of our Lord, he rose by means of his own power. Previously, if you recall, he had resurrected Lazarus, but Lazarus would die again. Christ would never die again. And he gives us this new life through baptism, where we too rise to a new life in union with Christ, and Christ enters into us through the sacraments, especially the Eucharist. But the first sacrament we can receive is baptism. So when we are baptized, we receive the indwelling of the Trinity. God becomes present to us. Our souls are united to God as long as we remain in a state of grace, as long as we don't commit mortal sin. And the presence of God helps us in this life to avoid sin, to do good. Yes, we have to choose, we have to cooperate, we might have to discipline ourselves, we have to strengthen our will in order to cooperate, but God will remain with us. And he enables us to be the way that he is, to overcome our sinfulness, to grow in true love, to have the strength, the ability to love to such an extent that we can forgive our enemies, to forgive those who offend us, and to love those who have offended us, as he calls us to. So we should rejoice at the resurrection of our Lord for all these reasons. And Christ, by means of his resurrection, he's victorious over death. He's victorious over sin, because he has taken all sin upon himself and died in our place. But he conquers the power and the effects of sin. And he's victorious over the evil spirits. You see, when we commit mortal sin, we're no longer united to God, and which means we're under the greater influence of the evil spirits. We don't have God's protection. So by having God within us, by having Jesus within us, by being nourished by our Lord's presence in the Eucharist, the more we have him within us, the more we too can conquer sin and avoid hell, but also we have greater protection from the evil spirits. So these are things to rejoice over for all of us. And usually at Easter, we have individuals who are baptized, received into the church, which is a wonderful occasion. It's a reminder to us of our own baptism. Most of us were baptized as infants. And when we were baptized, our parents spoke on our behalf. They made baptismal promises on our behalf. But now we are older. Now we choose for ourselves. So every Easter we renew our baptismal promises, our commitment to following Jesus And it's good for us to be reminded of this. So in just a minute, I'm going to ask you a number of questions, such as, do you reject Satan and all his works? And the response to all of these questions is, I do. Then I will go on and I will say, do you believe in God the Father, etc., etc. Every time I look up, the response will be, I do. But we shouldn't be wimpy Catholics. Yeah, I do, kind of, sort of. No. We need to have strong faith. We need to have great conviction. We need to proclaim, I do, with great enthusiasm, loudly, to let everyone know that we are true believers, not just here in church, but even outside of the church. You know, traditionally after Easter, people will greet each other, Jesus Christ is risen, or the Lord is risen. And the response is, yes, he is truly risen. And by doing this, people were publicly proclaiming their faith in the resurrected Lord. So we need to have this great zeal, this great enthusiasm. So when I look up, I want you to say nice and loud, with great enthusiasm, with great energy, I do. There's a little prayer I have to say before and afterwards. And then after that, I will come around and I will sprinkle everyone with holy water, a reminder that when we were baptized, it's not something we chose, but it's something that God, through the sacrament of baptism, confers upon us. So yes, we can bless ourselves with holy water, but we can't baptize ourselves. So God baptizes us. Not everyone will be sprinkled, but that the intention is there, especially for those who are in the hall. So please stand.